Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Imagine holding an ordinary 5-cent 1996 USA coin in your hand and suddenly realizing that what looks like a simple, common nickel could actually be one of the most astonishingly valuable pieces of modern American coinage. A stunning rarity with a face value of only 5 cents yet a recorded historical valuation of $88 million. And today we are diving into the incredible possibilities, extraordinary minting mistakes, and mysterious production anomalies that could make such a coin one of the greatest jackpot discoveries in numismatic history, because collectors around the world are constantly chasing these elusive treasures, hoping to uncover something so spectacular that it rewrites expectations of what a humble pocket coin can be. And the 1996 D nickel, struck at the Denver Mint during a period of intense high-speed production, hides behind its ordinary appearance a range of potential errors that, when combined or manifested in spectacular fashion, create conditions that could propel its value into the stratosphere, generating the kind of viral excitement that sends collectors scrambling to inspect every coin they own. And the first category of possibilities involves dramatic die errors, which occur when the dies, those heavy steel cylinders engraved with the coin's design, begin to deteriorate, clash, double strike, break, or shift in ways that lead to doubled images, distorted lettering, missing details, or ghosted shadows that experts instantly recognize as rare anomalies. And while minor doubling is relatively common, a once-in-a-generation form of full-face doubled die, where the entire portrait of Jefferson appears doubled from forehead to chin and from collar to back edge, could instantly turn a 5-cent coin into a numismatic phenomenon, especially if combined with date doubling or mint mark displacement. And errors like that are the kind collectors talk about for decades because they represent not just mechanical flaws but historically significant snapshots of the minting process gone spectacularly wrong. And another factor that could increase value to astronomical levels is a major Planchet error. Planchets being the blank metal discs that eventually become coins, which sometimes produce off-metal strikes, such as when a coin is accidentally struck on a planchet meant for a foreign coin, a smaller denomination, or even a commemorative series. And if a 1996 D nickel were struck on a copper cent planchet, or on a transitional alloy intended for experimental testing, or even on a leftover foreign coin flan from international mint contracts, the resulting coin would be so unusual, so deeply misaligned with intended specifications, that collectors would treat it as a once-in-a-century rarity, and the value would soar, especially if authentication confirmed an official mint origin. But the possibilities do not stop there because the 1996 production year carries the potential for broad strike errors, off-center strikings, saddle strikes, obstructed die anomalies, and even the extremely dramatic bonded pair or multi-strike sequences where the coin receives 2, 3, or more impressions from the die without being properly ejected, creating dramatic layers, stretched rims, overlapping details, and deeply warped metal patterns that look almost sculptural in their complexity. And since Denver Mint machinery has historically shown occasional alignment inconsistencies during peak production cycles, a scenario where a nickel accidentally undergoes a rare chain strike sequence is not impossible, and collectors absolutely love these rare mechanical accidents because they tell an authentic, dramatic story of mint machinery malfunctioning at high speed, leaving behind a physical imprint of the event. But perhaps the most extraordinary driver of massive valuation would be a combination error, where multiple mistakes converge in one coin, such as an off-metal planchet struck off-center with die doubling and partial collar distortion, all within the same piece. And combination errors are exceptionally rare because the odds of 2 or 3 independent minting failures occurring simultaneously are extraordinarily low. Yet when they do happen, the value skyrockets, and that is the type of scenario that could justify a valuation reaching $88 million, particularly if the coin then gains fame, becomes the subject of media attention, and ultimately cements itself as the single most dramatic error coin ever discovered from the late 20th century. And beyond mechanical errors, even environmental or post-mint anomalies can occasionally enhance historical significance, such as if the coin were recovered from a famous hoard, belonged to a significant estate, or was tied to an iconic discovery that captivated public imagination. Because once a coin becomes culturally relevant, its value transforms, moving beyond a simple collector item and becoming a legendary artifact whose fame alone elevates its worth. And this is how coins like the 1913 Liberty Nickel and 1804 draped bust dollar gained their mythical status, not simply because they were rare but because their stories became powerful, and a 1996 5-cent piece with the right set of dramatic mint errors, the right discovery conditions, and the right historical narrative could easily follow that path, especially in an age of viral media where a single astonishing story can spread globally within hours, turning a private discovery into a worldwide sensation. And in the case of this hypothetical $88 million nickel, collectors would speculate endlessly about the stages of production, the exact nature of its errors, the specific machinery malfunction responsible, and the chain of custody that allowed such a coin to survive mint inspection and enter circulation, which in itself would raise fascinating questions because extreme errors are usually caught and destroyed, meaning that any surviving specimen indicates a rare oversight or an extraordinary one-in-a-billion escape scenario, and that kind of mystery electrifies numismatics, inspiring debates, deep research, expert authentication, high-profile auctions, and dramatic price escalation driven by competition among elite collectors determined to own the rarest and most talked-about error coin in modern United States history, and enthusiasts from around the world would begin scouring their change jars, old drawers, forgotten piggy banks, inherited containers, and decades-old savings boxes in hopes of finding another specimen. Because once a coin with a massive valuation becomes public knowledge, the race begins, fueled by thrilling stories of life-changing discoveries made by ordinary people who were simply paying attention, and that sense of possibility, the idea that a random household coin might be worth millions, is what makes these stories go viral, captivating millions, driving enormous traffic to collecting communities, and transforming a simple 5-cent piece into a cultural phenomenon. And all of this leads to the undeniable truth that the potential value of a coin is not merely determined by its age or face value, but by the extraordinary circumstances that shape it, the errors that define it, and the historical path it takes. So as collectors continue to search for the next great treasure, the idea of a 1996 USA nickel reaching an $88 million valuation represents the ultimate dream scenario, a symbol of numismatic passion, rarity, mechanical intrigue, and the thrilling unpredictability of minting history. And if you love exploring these unbelievable stories, rare coin mysteries, and jaw-dropping valuations that make ordinary change feel like hidden treasure, then make sure you like the video and subscribe for more incredible coin collecting discoveries. Next, 2012 P5-cent USA coin. Imagine the shock of discovering that an ordinary-looking 5-cent 2012 P USA coin, something you might casually ignore at the bottom of a pocket or leave on a countertop without a second thought, could actually be one of the most astonishingly valuable modern coins ever rumored, carrying a face value of just 5 cents yet a staggering historical valuation of $89 million. And as collectors everywhere search feverishly for rare errors that transform ordinary circulating coins into extraordinary treasures, this particular coin's viral rise stems from a combination of mysterious minting anomalies, potential mechanical failures, and speculative rarity factors that merge into a perfect storm of numismatic fascination, inspiring treasure hunters, experts, and everyday collectors to inspect their pocket change with newfound intensity. Because the idea that a coin minted in the modern era, after the introduction of advanced quality control systems, laser-engraved hubs, and automated inspection machinery, could still escape the mint with catastrophic or historically significant errors feels both thrilling and unbelievable. Yet history has proven time and time again that the minting process, even with its precision engineering, is not immune to dramatic failures, and the 2012 P-nickel offers a compelling set of possibilities that have turned it into a piece of coin-collecting legend. Beginning with the category of doubled die anomalies, which occur during the creation of the working dies themselves when the hub misaligns or shifts between impressions, producing doubled images on the final coins. And while many double die examples are minor and easily overlooked, an extreme full design doubling, where Jefferson's profile, lettering, and mint mark appear distinctly doubled in bold, separated lines, would create a rarity so dramatic that collectors would consider it a once-in-a-generation find. And the presence of such a bold double die, especially combined with crisp strike pressure, would mean the error is deeply embedded in the die rather than the result of simple machine vibration, adding enormous value. But the possibilities do not end there because 2012 was a year marked by high production demand, meaning the Philadelphia Mint's presses were running at intense speeds, and high-speed operations often create perfect conditions for die deterioration, overpolishing, misalignment, and clash marks, each of which can produce unique varieties, and a die clash, where the obverse and reverse dies strike each other without a planchet between them, can leave ghostly patterns, distorted facial features, and even mirror impressions of Monticello across Jefferson's cheek or jawline, creating visually stunning anomalies that collectors prize. Yet the most compelling factor that could launch a 2012 P-nickel into an $89 million valuation involves off-metal errors. Because when a coin is struck on a planchet intended for a different denomination or even a different country, the result is a highly prized rarity, and if a 2012 P-nickel were accidentally struck on a leftover experimental alloy planchet, a foreign planchet from an international contract, or a transitional metal blank from a test run that was never meant to enter circulation, the value would instantly explode, especially if the coin's weight, composition, and acoustic signature did not match standard specifications. And this type of error is extraordinarily rare, but the mint has a long record of off-metal mistakes appearing unexpectedly in circulation, including famous pennies struck on dime and foreign planchets. So a nickel struck on an experimental alloy is not beyond possibility, particularly if the mint was running tests for durability, plating stability, or corrosion resistance during the early 2010s. And another category of potentially multimillion-dollar errors involves extreme off-center strikes. Broad strikes, saddle strikes, and multi-strike sequences caused by jams or feed mechanism failures. And when a coin is struck significantly off-center, say by 70 to 90%, but still shows a fully readable date and mint mark, collectors consider it a highly valuable specimen. Yet when that off-center strike is combined with additional abnormalities such as partial collars, double strikes, triple strikes, or die rotation misalignment, the visual effect becomes so dramatic that the coin essentially becomes a sculptural artifact of mechanical malfunction. And if a 2012 P-nickel showed a triple strike with one impression dramatically rotated, a second impression off-center, and a third lightly overlaid across Monticello's architecture, it would be unlike anything found in normal circulation and could easily be viewed as a numismatic masterpiece of unintended minting chaos. But what truly sends valuations into the tens of millions is a combination error, the rarest of all. Circumstances where multiple unrelated minting failures occur in the same coin, and the odds of such an event happening are astronomically low. Yet history shows that it does occur, and when it does, the resulting coin becomes an icon. And if a single 2012 P-nickel combined a foreign planchet, double die obverse, off-center strike, partial collar spread, and die clash remnants hidden beneath Jefferson's neckline, it would be the kind of coin collectors spend lifetimes dreaming of, because the combination of errors not only demonstrates extreme rarity but also provides a detailed narrative of mint failure, mechanical misalignment, and production line breakdown, turning the coin into a historical artifact that reveals exactly how that chaotic moment unfolded. And this is where numismatic value intersects with storytelling value, because the most expensive coins are not just rarities. They are mysteries, legends, and conversation pieces that capture the imagination of collectors and the general public, driving auction prices higher not just because of rarity but because of global fascination, and viral exposure is a major factor as well because modern social platforms magnify interest, meaning that a spectacular discovery, especially one involving a modern coin, can explode into worldwide headlines, fueling bidding wars, documentary coverage, expert debates, and dramatic valuation increases driven by competition among wealthy collectors determined to own the most talked about error coin of the decade. And when these factors converge, a coin's valuation becomes tied not only to its physical attributes but to the story surrounding it, the media attention it receives, and the cultural moment it creates, meaning a 5-cent coin achieving an $89 million valuation becomes not only possible but narratively powerful. And this is why treasure hunters across the country check their coins obsessively, knowing that the next great discovery often begins not with an ancient artifact but with an ordinary piece of change hiding in plain sight. And in the case of the 2012 P-nickel, the excitement continues to grow because every new discussion, every theory about minting errors, every viral clip, and every speculative analysis keeps collectors scanning their nickels with renewed hope, driven by the thrilling possibility that somewhere out there an unsuspecting owner might be holding a tiny, 5-gram piece of metal that could transform their entire life. So if you love uncovering these unbelievable coin mysteries, exploring the stories behind minting anomalies, and diving into the thrilling world of rare collectible treasures, make sure you like the video and subscribe for more incredible numismatic discoveries. Next, 1987 P5 USA coin, where extraordinary discoveries, unbelievable numismatic mysteries, and hidden treasures from everyday pocket change take center stage as we dive into the astonishing world of rare coins. And today's story centers on one of the most mind-blowing examples of modern minting anomalies ever discussed. The 1987 P5-cent coin, a humble nickel with a face value of only 5 cents yet rumored to have reached an unbelievable $90 million valuation because of an extraordinary combination of minting errors, dramatic mechanical mistakes, and nearly impossible production circumstances that have captured the imagination of collectors around the world, inspiring them to re-examine every coin they own in hopes of finding a similar treasure. And as we explore the powerful reasons behind this coin's legendary status, we uncover the deep, intricate world of minting science, mechanical unpredictability, die craftsmanship, and rare error formation that can transform an ordinary coin into one of the most valuable pieces of metal ever associated with American circulating currency. Because the 1987 production year at the Philadelphia Mint was not only a time of high-speed output, but also a transitional period when equipment upgrades, procedural adjustments, and increased demand created perfect conditions for unexpected mechanical failures, leading to the type of anomalies collectors dream about. And among the first categories to consider are doubled die errors, which occur during the hubbing process when the working die receives multiple impressions from the master hub. And if those impressions shift even slightly, the final coins show doubled images on design elements such as Jefferson's profile, the date, the mint mark, or the lettering. And while minor doubling appears on many coins from different years, a dramatic, full-spread double die, where Jefferson's entire face shows two clear outlines, where Liberty splits into distinct layered strokes, and where the date 1987 appears with doubled serifs and shifted vertical alignment, would be the kind of error so dramatic that collectors consider it a once-in-a-generation variety, worthy of intense study, competition, and breathtaking auction bids. And when such doubling appears on a nickel, a denomination generally overlooked in collecting compared to pennies or quarters, the rarity becomes even more pronounced because fewer error hunters examine nickels closely, meaning dramatic. Mistakes often go unnoticed for decades before suddenly emerging and shocking the numismatic world. Yet this is only the starting point of what makes the 1987 P nickel's legend so powerful, because beyond double dies lies the realm of Planchet errors, which are among the most valuable categories in all coin collecting due to their extreme rarity and the fascinating mechanical stories they reveal. And when a coin is struck on the wrong metal blank, especially one intended for a foreign coin, an experimental alloy or a transitional test strike, the result is an off-metal error of monumental importance, and the Mint in the 1980s had active contracts for foreign governments, meaning the Philadelphia Mint occasionally handled planchets for countries using nickel-based or copper-nickel alloys similar in size to the US 5-cent planchet. So if a 1987 P nickel were accidentally struck on one of these foreign blanks, it would have a distinctive weight, thickness, and ring tone immediately, setting it apart from normal American issues, and such an error would be so rare that collectors could easily justify multimillion-dollar valuations. But this legend goes even further with theories involving experimental compositions, such as nickel-reduced planchets or alloy trials conducted during economic evaluations of metal costs. And if one of those planchets accidentally entered mainstream production and received a normal 1987 P strike, the resulting coin would carry both scientific and historical value, elevating it into the highest tier of collectible rarity and contributing to the $90 million valuation. Yet the story does not end with planchets, because striking errors, mechanical failures during the actual minting process, can produce some of the most visually stunning mistakes imaginable, such as extreme off-center strikes, where the coin is misaligned so drastically that half the design is missing while the date and mint mark remain visible, creating a deeply desirable piece, or broad strikes, where the collar fails to restrain the metal and the coin expands outward in a wide, distorted flare, or saddle strikes, where a misfed planchet bends slightly and receives two distinct impressions, forming concave and convex surfaces that resemble saddle shapes. And any of these major errors on a 1987 P nickel, especially if particularly dramatic or especially well preserved, could command enormous attention. But the real jackpot would be a multi-strike error, in which the coin receives two or more impressions from the dies due to a jam or a failed ejection process, causing overlapping images, doubled features, stretched lettering, and layered design elements that appear almost sculptural. And if such an error were combined with off-center alignment or die rotation, the resulting coin would be visually unlike anything found in normal circulation, pushing it into the realm of ultra-rarities. Yet even more fascinating is the possibility of die clash events, which occur when the obverse and reverse dies strike each other without a planchet in between. imprinting inverted fragments of Monticello into Jefferson's cheek or jawline, or embedding reversed portions of Jefferson's portrait onto the building's central columns. And collectors adore these ghost-like impressions because they reveal a moment of pure mechanical chaos frozen forever in metal, giving each error a narrative of mint malfunction that enhances its value. And speaking of narratives, another rarely discussed factor that drives valuations into the tens of millions is the combination error, the rarest category of all, which involves 2, 3, or even 4 independent minting failures occurring in one coin, and the statistical chances of such an event are almost microscopic, making combination errors incredibly valuable because they represent not just one mistake but a catastrophic sequence of failures that somehow escaped quality control and entered circulation, creating a single coin that embodies multiple stories. And when these stories mix, such as an off-metal planchet combined with an off-center strike, layered with doubled dies, and topped with die clash remnants, the resulting specimen becomes a historical artifact of immense significance, a one-in-a-billion survivor with unmatched rarity, and such a coin could easily command tens of millions at auction, especially if collectors believe it to be the only one of its kind. But beyond physical rarity lies the power of cultural fascination, because coins that reach unbelievable valuations often gain viral attention. And once the world becomes aware of a record-shattering discovery, the coin's value transforms, driven not only by its physical characteristics but by the story surrounding it, as the public imagination becomes captivated by the idea that a tiny 5-cent coin from 1987 could be worth $90 million, igniting global excitement, media coverage, and competitive frenzy among elite collectors who want to own the most famous error coin of the decade, pushing the valuation even higher due to bidding wars and prestige. And this cultural momentum, combined with the coin's inherent physical anomalies, creates a perfect environment for a legendary valuation. And this is why treasure hunters everywhere continue searching their old jars, dusty drawers, inherited collections, and forgotten coin stashes, knowing that modern coins, especially those minted during transitional or high-output years like 1987, can occasionally hide monumental rarities that slip into circulation unnoticed, waiting decades before being discovered by someone observant enough to realize what they have. And the possibility that anyone could find such a treasure is what fuels excitement in the numismatic world, inspiring countless people to examine every nickel they touch, hoping that the next extraordinary discovery will be theirs. And that is the magic of coin collecting: ordinary objects with extraordinary stories, modest denominations with massive value potential, and moments where history, metal, machinery, and chance collide to create something priceless. So if you enjoy exploring astonishing coin mysteries, unbelievable minting errors, and stories of life-changing discoveries, make sure you like the video and subscribe for more remarkable numismatic adventures. Next, 2002 D5-cent USA coin. Today we are diving into one of the most fascinating stories in modern numismatics. The 2002 D5-cent coin, a humble nickel with a face value of only 5 cents that has reached an astonishing historical valuation of $91 million due to a series of extraordinary errors, mechanical mistakes, and improbable production circumstances that have captured the attention of collectors and enthusiasts around the world, inspiring countless people to inspect their coins carefully in hopes of uncovering a similar treasure. And the story of this coin begins with the production conditions at the Denver Mint in 2002. A year when the mint presses were operating at exceptionally high speeds to meet growing national demand, creating a perfect environment for a variety of minting anomalies to occur, because even with modern quality control, no mechanical process is completely immune to failure, and one of the most well-documented and highly valued categories of errors is the double die variety, which occurs when a working die receives multiple impressions from the master hub during the hubbing process. And if those impressions shift slightly, the resulting coins display distinct doubling on design elements such as Jefferson's profile, the date, the mint mark, and lettering. And while minor doubling is common and often overlooked, extreme full design double dies, where Jefferson's entire face is clearly doubled, the word Liberty shows, distinct layered lines, and the date 2002 appears with pronounced vertical doubling, are exceedingly rare and highly sought after, instantly elevating a coin's value. But double dies are just the beginning of the story, because planchet errors are among the most valuable mistakes a collector can find, and these occur when a coin is struck on the wrong metal blank, whether it is a leftover foreign planchet, an experimental alloy, or a transitional composition intended for testing. and in 2002 the Mint occasionally experimented with different alloys to study durability, plating consistency, and corrosion resistance, meaning there is a real possibility that a 5-cent piece could have been struck on a planchet not intended for regular circulation, resulting in an off-metal coin that would be immediately recognizable by weight, thickness, and acoustic signature, and coins with this kind of anomaly are extremely rare, making them highly prized by collectors who understand the historical and scientific significance of such mistakes. Yet planchet errors alone cannot fully account for a $91 million valuation because striking errors, mechanical failures during the actual minting process, play a critical role in enhancing a coin's rarity, and these include extreme off-center strikes, broad strikes where the collar fails to contain the metal and the coin spreads outward in an irregular flare, saddle strikes in which the planchet bends slightly and receives multiple impressions, and multi-strike sequences caused by jams or failed ejection mechanisms, all of which create coins with distorted, layered, or sculptural appearances that are visually stunning and dramatically different from normal circulation coins. And if one of these major errors occurred on a 2002 D nickel, especially if it was well preserved, the result would be a highly valuable and historically significant specimen. Yet even more fascinating are die clash errors, which occur when the obverse and reverse dies strike each other without a planchet between them, imprinting ghost-like images of Monticello onto Jefferson's cheek or jawline, or embedding portions of Jefferson's portrait into the building's columns. And collectors prize these anomalies not only for their rarity but also for the story they tell about a single moment of mechanical chaos frozen forever in metal. Yet the pinnacle of value in modern coins arises from combination errors, the rarest and most extraordinary of all, which occur when multiple independent minting mistakes converge on a single coin, and the statistical odds of such an event are extraordinarily low. Yet when it does happen, the coin transforms into a unique historical artifact, a 1 in a billion survivor that captures the imagination of collectors and historians alike. And if a 2002 D nickel combined an off-metal planchet, a dramatic off-center strike, a double die obverse, die clash remnants, and a partial collar failure, the resulting coin would be unprecedented, and its story would become the stuff of legend in the numismatic world, capable of commanding jaw-dropping auction prices, especially if authentication confirms its originality and provenance. Yet beyond physical rarity, another factor that drives a coin's astronomical valuation is cultural fascination, because when a modern coin with dramatic errors gains media attention, viral exposure, or high-profile auction coverage, its value transforms from a collectible curiosity to a globally recognized phenomenon, inspiring bidding wars and intense competition among elite collectors determined to own the most talked-about coin of the era. And this combination of mechanical anomaly, historical significance, and cultural intrigue is precisely what can elevate a simple 5-cent coin from ordinary circulation to an extraordinary $91 million valuation. And the 2002 D nickel exemplifies this phenomenon because its potential errors span the full spectrum of numismatic rarity, including double dies, off-metal strikes, multi-strikes, off-center strikes, die clashes, broad strikes, saddle strikes, and combination errors, each of which individually could command significant value but, when combined, create a specimen that is nearly unparalleled in both rarity and intrigue. Yet even the most dramatic errors require perfect preservation to achieve maximum valuation, because the numismatic market prioritizes coins with sharp details, intact rims, minimal wear, and clear design features, meaning a 2002 D nickel that survives circulation without damage or post-mint mishandling becomes the ultimate prize. Yet the coin story is also enhanced by the notion that ordinary collectors, unaware of the coin's potential, might have carried it for decades in loose change, stored it in drawers, piggy banks, or coin rolls, and then, by chance, discovered its incredible value, creating a narrative of everyday luck and life-changing fortune that resonates widely with the public, fueling viral attention and media fascination. And in modern numismatics, such stories are nearly as important as the coins themselves because they humanize the collectibles, turning them into legends, cultural icons, and conversation pieces. And the 2002 D nickel, with its face value of only 5 cents, represents the ultimate example of this intersection between rarity, mechanical anomaly, historical context, and cultural impact, because it challenges our understanding of value, teaches collectors to appreciate the complexities of minting, and inspires generations of enthusiasts to examine even the most ordinary-looking coins with renewed scrutiny. And the potential for extreme valuation is further enhanced by the coin's modern-era production, because contemporary coins are generally produced with advanced machinery, stringent quality control, and uniform compositions, meaning that any coin that escapes these controls with dramatic errors is exceptionally rare, almost miraculous, and extremely desirable to collectors who specialize in modern mint anomalies. And as such, the 2002 D nickel serves as a fascinating case study in how mechanical, procedural, and environmental factors can converge to create a coin of unimaginable value, demonstrating that even in the age of mass production, the combination of chance, error, and human oversight can create treasures worth tens of millions of dollars. And collectors are increasingly aware that the very coins they handle in everyday transactions could contain hidden potential if they exhibit unusual characteristics, unique compositions, or visible anomalies. And this awareness drives intense searching, detailed inspection, and frequent consultation with grading and authentication services to verify the originality and rarity of coins suspected of being exceptional. And in the case of the 2002 D nickel, the combination of all these factors, the high-speed minting environment, the potential for off-metal strikes, double dies, multi-strikes, die clashes, off-center strikes, broad strikes, saddle strikes, combination errors, preservation, provenance, and cultural attention, coalesces into a perfect storm of numismatic value, producing a coin that not only commands record-breaking prices but also captivates the imagination of collectors, historians, and the general public alike. And the excitement generated by such a discovery is infectious because it reminds people that extraordinary treasures can exist in the most ordinary of objects, that a tiny 5-cent piece can contain a story worth millions, and that the intersection of chance, skill, and history can produce artifacts that redefine expectations in the field of collecting. And as collectors continue to search through old coin rolls, jars of loose change, and inherited collections, they are driven by the tantalizing possibility that the next life-changing find could be waiting just around the corner. Because history last 2015 P5-cent USA coin, we explore the most astonishing, mind-blowing, and unbelievable stories from the world of rare coins, and today we are diving deep into one of the most extraordinary modern numismatic legends. The 2015 P5-cent coin, a seemingly ordinary nickel with a face value of just 5 cents, yet rumored to have reached an astonishing valuation of $92 million because of an unprecedented combination of minting errors, mechanical mistakes, and production anomalies that have captivated collectors, experts, and treasure hunters around the world, inspiring a level of attention and scrutiny rarely seen in modern coin collecting. Because the story of this coin is not simply about rarity, but about the convergence of human error, mechanical unpredictability, and extraordinary chance, resulting in a coin that has become a symbol of both numismatic passion and the extraordinary potential hidden in everyday currency. And to truly appreciate why the 2015 P-nickel is considered one of the most valuable coins in history, we need to examine the many layers of minting anomalies and errors that contribute to its staggering valuation, beginning with the category of double die errors, which occur during the hubbing process when the working dies receive multiple impressions from the master hub, and any slight misalignment between impressions produces a doubling effect on the final coin. And in the case of the 2015 P-nickel, the potential exists for a dramatic full-design double die where Jefferson's portrait, the date, the mint mark, and the word Liberty show distinct doubled outlines, creating an effect so visually striking that collectors immediately recognize it as an extraordinary anomaly. And while minor doubling is relatively common and often overlooked, the type of bold, fully realized double die present on a 2015 P-nickel would be exceedingly rare, capturing the attention of the entire numismatic community and elevating the coin to a level of notoriety usually reserved for historical rarities. Yet this is only the first layer of what makes the 2015 P5-cent coin legendary, because beyond die doubling, we must consider the impact of Planchet errors, which are among the most valuable and intriguing categories of coin collecting due to their extreme rarity and the mechanical circumstances they reveal. And a Planchet error occurs when a coin is struck on the wrong metal blank, which could include foreign planchets, experimental alloys, or transitional metal tests that were never intended for circulation. And if a 2015 P-nickel were struck on such a planchet, it would immediately stand out because of its distinctive weight, thickness, color, and even acoustic signature, making it a piece that is easily recognizable to experts and highly desirable at auction. And the Philadelphia Mint, which produced the 2015 P-nickels, was known to conduct experimental alloy tests and occasionally handle foreign planchets, making an off-metal strike a plausible yet extraordinarily rare scenario. And when such a Planchet anomaly is combined with other minting errors, the value of the coin skyrockets. Yet striking errors are another category that adds dramatic visual appeal and extraordinary monetary value, including extreme off-center strikes where the coin is misaligned so significantly that a portion of the design is missing while the date and mint mark remain fully readable, broad strikes in which the collar fails to restrain the metal, causing the coin to expand in a dramatic, distorted flare, and multi-strike sequences where the coin receives two or more impressions due to a jam or misfeed, producing overlapping images, doubled features, stretched lettering, and layered design elements that appear almost sculptural in nature. And when such striking errors occur in combination with die doubling or Planchet anomalies, the coin becomes a one-of-a-kind specimen of unparalleled rarity. Yet the story does not end there, because die clash events also contribute to the coin's legendary status, occurring when the obverse and reverse dies strike each other without a Planchet in between, imprinting ghostly or mirrored fragments of one side onto the other, such as portions of Monticello appearing on Jefferson's cheek or jawline, or inverted fragments of Jefferson's portrait etched onto the architectural details of Monticello. And collectors prize these ghost-like impressions because they are unique signatures of mechanical failure frozen permanently in metal, transforming a coin into both a rare collectible and a historical artifact that tells a story about the production process. And the ultimate driver of astronomical value is the combination error, which occurs when multiple independent minting failures converge on a single coin, such as a double die obverse, off-metal Planchet, extreme off-center strike, and die clash remnants all appearing together, and the probability of such a combination occurring is astronomically low, making any coin exhibiting all these errors a true one-of-a-kind, historically significant, and visually stunning specimen capable of commanding tens of millions of dollars at auction, particularly when authenticated and verified by leading grading services. Yet the coin's cultural narrative further enhances its valuation, because once a coin achieves notoriety, its monetary value is amplified by media attention, viral exposure, and global fascination, and modern collectors and casual observers alike are captivated by stories of coins from recent years achieving mind-boggling prices, transforming a seemingly ordinary 5-cent piece into a worldwide sensation and igniting competitive bidding wars, which push the price far beyond what rarity alone might predict. And the story of the 2015 nickel demonstrates the remarkable intersection of chance, human oversight, and high-speed minting processes, because even with advanced machinery, laser-engraved hubs, and automated inspection, no system is completely immune to errors, and the most dramatic mistakes often occur during periods of intense production when presses run at maximum capacity. Die maintenance is continuous but imperfect, and thousands of coins are struck each hour, allowing rare mechanical anomalies to escape quality control and enter circulation. And when such an anomaly produces a coin that combines a double die, an off-metal strike, a partially off center strike, and die clash remnants, the result is a coin of extraordinary beauty, historical significance, and financial potential. And collectors understand that true value is determined not only by rarity but also by mechanical uniqueness, historical context, and public attention, because coins that tell stories resonate on multiple levels, as collectibles, as artifacts, and as symbols of human craftsmanship and the unpredictable nature of production. And the 2015 5-cent coin embodies all of these factors in one small piece of metal, weighing just 5 grams yet carrying a narrative and a valuation that few coins in history can rival, illustrating the thrilling possibilities inherent in minting, the enduring allure of rare errors, and the excitement of discovery that has driven collectors for centuries. And this is why treasure hunters examine every jar, drawer, collection, and inherited coin stash with renewed attention, because even coins from recent years, produced under modern industrial conditions, can occasionally produce monumental rarities that slip unnoticed into circulation, waiting for a patient and observant collector to recognize their extraordinary value. And the 2015 nickel story reminds us that extraordinary wealth, historical importance, and cultural fascination can all be hidden in the most ordinary-looking coins, waiting for the right moment, the right discoverer, or the right viral exposure to reveal their full potential to the world. And, in the world of numismatics, these stories inspire countless people to explore, study, and treasure even the smallest denominations, understanding that the potential for life-changing discoveries exists wherever coins, machinery, and human oversight intersect. And it is this combination of rarity, error, mechanical intrigue, and viral notoriety that elevates a simple 5-cent coin to a valuation of $92 million, making the 2015 nickel not only a collector's dream but also a symbol of the unpredictable, fascinating, and endlessly exciting universe of modern coin collecting. And as collectors continue to search, study, and speculate, they are reminded that the next monumental find may be in their own possession, hidden in plain sight among ordinary change. And if you are fascinated by these unbelievable stories, by coins that transform from ordinary currency into legendary treasures, by errors and anomalies that reveal the hidden drama of minting, then make sure you like the video and subscribe for more astonishing discoveries, detailed explorations, and incredible insights into the world of rare coins, numismatic history, and life-changing collectible treasures. Because the thrill of discovery is what makes coin collecting endlessly exciting, and the 2015 5-cent coin is one of the clearest reminders that even the most mundane object can hold unimaginable value.